Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a bit of Pokemon Legends ZA or Z Alpha and the fact that RAYQUAZA might have a prominent role in the story. So I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you do enjoy this video, and let's get into it. Okay, so why do I think that RAYQUAZA might have a prominent role in this story? So if we look at the logo to begin with, this is the logo, so Pokemon Legends ZA. I'll move over here so you can see it. So Pokemon Legends ZA or Z Alpha or Z Delta, I'm not entirely sure yet. Obviously from the Nintendo website it looks like a Z and an A. But there's some interesting things about this A that is quite interesting. So if you look at the A, we've got this kind of like pale green look to it. So obviously this is somewhat maybe related to Zygarde in some way, as it's got a Z in it in the logo, which obviously means we're going to get Zygarde. We're in Kalos, that's going to happen. So this A could either be a counterpart to Zygarde, maybe this is going to be a new Pokemon, or it's a Pokemon that we already know about. So if we think about Zygarde, what does Zygarde kind of represent? It represents the kind of balance of the ecosystem. So we know that Zygarde and Xerneas and Yveltal are kind of like a trio, and we know that Xerneas is the kind of like, I don't know, the ruler of like life, and Yveltal is the same but for death. Whereas Zygarde is all about kind of like the balance between the balance of the ecosystem of both life and death. So it's very interesting that we've got the Zygarde Z there. But going back to the whole idea of RAYQUAZA, so RAYQUAZA also has a very balancing kind of trope to it. So in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire we have Groudon and Kyogre, and they obviously control the land and the sea, and the balance of them two is RAYQUAZA, and when RAYQUAZA is sent out, it has almost this control over them, and it kind of like balances that ecosystem. So there is definitely a link between Zygarde and RAYQUAZA, which is kind of interesting, because I kind of didn't think that this was possible in any way. But if we go back to the time of X and Y in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, there are a lot of strong like kind of links between those two sets of games. So when we have RAYQUAZA and that story in the Delta episode, it goes over the fact that RAYQUAZA was one of the first Pokemon to actually ever Mega Evolve. Okay, so we know that RAYQUAZA obviously deals with the balance of Groudon and Kyogre. And we find out in the Delta episode of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire that it has the ability to ingest meteorites that fall to Earth, and with that, it has the power to Mega Evolve. So I did a bit more research and went to Bulbapedia, and from what it sounds like, this is what it says on Bulbapedia. So a Devon Corporation scientist, that's Generation 3, names this organ the Mikado organ, by consuming meteorites as it flies through the stratosphere. So that's what we talked about before. The organ will be filled with enough energy to enable RAYQUAZA's Mega Evolution. Mega RAYQUAZA has the power to undo the primal forms of Groudon and Kyogre. So there we go. So it's the balancing of those two Pokemon, Groudon and Kyogre, and the fact that it can Mega Evolve from the meteorites that fall to Earth. Very interesting. And if we go back to this logo, we know we're going to have Zygarde in it. No matter what, we're going to have Zygarde in it. But Zygarde never actually has any links to Mega Evolution. It just deals with the ecosystem. Now that could maybe be linked to the Kalos War, but that seems to be a whole other theory that we'll go to at some other point. But Zygarde has no links with Mega Evolution. So same with the Xerneas and Yveltal as well. What is interesting is that RAYQUAZA seems to be the main link for Mega Evolution. Now I know that Mega Evolution is going to be in this game in some shape or form, so I think RAYQUAZA / Mega RAYQUAZA is going to be in this game, is going to be a heavily kind of like prominent part of the story, because it is to do with, you know, Mega Evolution, and that's RAYQUAZA is that crux of that story. So does that mean RAYQUAZA is also part of this game? And if you go into this deeper, that A looks like a delta. So I know it's not like a proper triangle, so it can be a little bit wishy-washy there. But with RAYQUAZA's symbol on Mega RAYQUAZA's head, It does look like a delta. It's not a full triangle. So, you know, there could be a link there as well. And if we go even further with that, in the actual trailer itself, near the beginning, we have this kind of logo in the corner of the beginning of the trailer. And from what it looks like a quasar symbol, which is obviously to do with space. And what did we just talk about? We just talked about the fact that meteorites have been falling from space onto Earth and it's been causing this mega evolution for RAYQUAZA. Nothing to do with zygote at all. So this is really, really interesting. I don't know. I mean, maybe this is just, you know, this is just my theory. I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think RAYQUAZA will come back in this game in some shape or form? We know there was loads of links between X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and so do you remember when there was that whole deal with, like, you know, Pokemon Z coming out after Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? But there was this whole thing of like, oh, we've had Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where's Delta Emerald? Obviously, it makes no sense really because we don't get third versions of remakes. But now we've got a Pokemon Z version. Could that actually be a Delta symbol? And could this be like a Delta Emerald situation? That would be insane. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking into this too deeply. I think this is really bizarre, and I don't know if anyone else has actually kind of caught on to this idea yet. But there's a lot of lore with Draconid people and Rayquaza, and like the whole Mega Evolution thing. This is like a huge part of this whole storyline that has seemed to kind of like weave its way through some of the generations prior to Generation 6 and 7. So I don't know. I don't know what do you guys think about this. So make sure to leave a comment. Just say what you think about this. Like, am I missing something? Is there something even more important that I'm missing? And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. And I'm going to make some more videos of this very soon, and I hope you guys will be there to see them. So I'll see you guys in the next one.